The Truth Girls.
Hi everyone. Well, I've been researching the Boston Marathon bombing some more and I've found a lot of strange things that I'd like to share with you. And by the way, I have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/thetruthgirls. So please like my page, and if you find any interesting links, you could share them with me there. And if I post links, please let me know your thoughts on the stuff that I post. So here's what I found so far. So first of all, the family of the suspects, Djohar and Tamerlan Tsarnaev. What did they have to say about them? Well, as I mentioned in my other video, the father said there's no way that they were angels and they couldn't have done this and they must have been set up. And I thought, well, you know, maybe the father's in denial. Maybe he doesn't really know what his kids are up to. But the mother also said that she thought it was a setup, and she mentioned that the FBI had been like on their case or had been in touch with them anyway for years. And I remember her saying that the FBI was monitoring them and controlling everything they do. That's what she said. So if the FBI was so worried about them, you know, you'd think that they could have maybe done something to prevent this from happening. And then the aunt, Marette, says that they were set up, she thinks also. And Dan Dix from Press for Truth tried to interview her, and she was really scared and she didn't want to talk to him. But she did talk to him on the phone. She just said that the naked man who had been arrested in Watertown, that was the older brother Tamerlan. Although Tamerlan was supposedly over 6 feet tall, and the naked man doesn't look like he's that tall. So maybe the aunt was mistaken and it's not Tamerlan. The backpacks, they said that the recovered exploded backpack was Djohar's pack, but if you look at the pictures comparing the exploded pack to his pack, it really doesn't look like the same pack. I mean, first of all, the exploded pack is black, and Djohar's pack was kind of like a dark gray, and it also didn't have a square on it, but the exploded pack does. There was someone else at the scene who did have a square on his pack. Was it his pack? I don't know, but it doesn't look like Djohar's pack in any case. And even CNN admitted this, and they gave this ludicrous explanation that maybe Djohar had a pack within a pack. But where's the proof? And they say they have footage of him depositing it, but they haven't shown it to us. So, you know, I'm not convinced. Sorry, I said Djohar, but I meant Tamerlan. Tamerlan's the one with the dark colored pack. Okay, so supposedly Djohar, he goes to the marathon, he sets off a bomb, and then what does he do after that? Does he go into hiding? No, he goes back to school. He goes to school, he attends class, he even goes to the gym, he even talks to people there about what happened and says that it's crazy and this could happen anywhere in the world. He goes to the gym, he goes to a party, and then what's really weird is that the FBI, for some reason, instead of going to the school to get him, because you'd think that if there's a terrorist on the loose, and this guy is a suspect, and they know where he goes to school, and everyone at school knows that he's there, I mean, couldn't they have just checked with the school whether he was there, or maybe gone to his dorm and seen if he was there? I mean, doesn't it make sense to go to where he probably would be and just pick him up? Another thing that's really weird is that their mother claims that the FBI contacted them after the bombing. So if they could contact them and they knew where they were, then why didn't they just go and get them? It's a scary thought that if the FBI is on the case of a terrorist, that they would do that and give him a heads up rather than just go and pick him up. Well, as Channel 4 News points out, though, it's possible that the FBI didn't really call Tamerlan. It's not really confirmed. The FBI won't say anything about it. So according to the official narrative, the police catch up with the two after they kill the security guard at MIT and hijack someone's vehicle. Tamerlan is killed in a shootout, possibly run over by his own brother, although we don't know if that's true. And Djohar gets away. And as for the robbing the 7-Eleven, turns out that they didn't do that. That was just some mistake reported in the media. And so then they finally find Djohar in a boat. So they call the FBI, and by this time it's like martial law, and Watertown is on lockdown. Lockdown, by the way, as my husband has pointed out, is a prison term. It's something they use in maximum security prisons. So, so they basically had the army out for this one guy. Of course, it would have been so much easier to just go to his school and pick him up. But no, they didn't do that. They let him get away, and then they send the army after him, and then they find him in this boat. And they say that he'd been injured and he was bleeding in the boat, but there's a picture of the boat. There's no blood in the boat. The only blood is on the outside of the boat, which would mean that his injury was sustained when he was outside the boat. Because there's splatter. It looks like, you know, if a bullet had gone through and the blood came out the other side and it's splattered. So it looks like he got shot once he was out of the boat. You can actually see a picture of him getting out of the boat unassisted. Because the official story is that he shot himself in the mouth. And that's why now he can't talk, which of course is convenient if you want him to be quiet. If he did that in the boat, how could he climb out of the boat unassisted if he actually needed help breathing once he was out? It doesn't make any sense. He couldn't have gotten out of the boat, and there would be blood in the boat. Looks more like he got shot on the outside. So what happened? He came out of the boat, and he still had his gun, and then he put it in his mouth in front of everybody? Why would he do that? Why wouldn't he have shot himself in the boat? It doesn't make sense. Maybe he caught a bullet from someone else's gun? Oh, yeah. And then there's social media. Because they want, you know, they're saying, well, these guys were like Chechen radical Muslims. Although they were Muslims, but when invited to join the Muslim club at school, Djohar declined. And apparently he smoked pot. So I think that's kind of not the way that a radical Muslim usually behaves. They don't usually smoke pot. So social media, though, apparently Tamerlan had a YouTube channel called Tamerlan Tsarnaev, where he had terrorist or jihadist videos on a playlist. Who uses their real name on YouTube? I mean, I guess some people use their real name, but if you were doing something like making playlists about the jihad, would you use your real name? I find that strange, is unusual. If you're doing stuff like that, you'd probably want to use a nickname, because what if somebody Googles your name and then they find you've got a jihadist playlist on YouTube? People just don't do that kind of stuff. Usually when they're looking up things like, you know, foot fetishes or how to make bombs, they do it under some kind of a handle. And Djohar, the younger one, he's got a page on this site, Russian social media site, vk.com. And what's weird here is the page was started on March 13th. And there's almost nothing on it. I mean, it really looks like, you know, anyone could have made this page. It looks like it could just be some kind of a fake page. I mean, there's almost no activity on it. Okay, in this article from bbc.co.uk, it says, why has he not been advised of his Miranda rights? The Justice Department officials said they plan to rely on a 1984 Supreme Court ruling which created an exception allowing prosecutors to use statements made by a defendant prior to the Miranda warning in response to questions from law enforcement officials about an immediate threat to the public, such as a bomb. Pretty weird it's from 1984. I mean, that seems appropriate enough to me. So they made this exception so he basically doesn't have the rights. Like, usually you can't interrogate somebody before you've read them their rights, otherwise you can't use any of those statements in court. But they can get around that, I guess, because of the extenuating exceptional circumstances. So, in summary, I find that the narrative really just doesn't add up. So it makes them look totally incompetent. Because instead of going to get him, they left him there so he could run away again and then shoot a security guard. I mean, this is according to their own story. They're the ones who are saying that he did that. He ran away, shot a security guard, and had a shootout, and they had to put the whole city on lockdown and bring in practically the army. Well, it was like a militarized police force. See, the FBI is telling you that. So why don't they explain why they let him do that? So anyhow, I posted a lot of things on Facebook, and I'd like your feedback on it, because I find you guys are really insightful. So, you know, if I post something on Facebook, it's facebook.com/thetruthofgirls. Just give me your feedback, because I really appreciate it. And let me know here in the comments also what you think. I'm pretty sure most of you are like me at this point, don't believe the official narrative. It doesn't make any sense. And Well, thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.